When you look at schools that are challenging, our area happens to be one of the worst. We look at school dropout. We look at homelessness. We look at teen pregnancy. We look at HIV/AIDS. We look at boarded up houses. The community in which I live, the 40th district, is either the first or the second worst in the entire state, not just the city, in the entire state and all those areas. Sadly enough, we have some good elected officials. I'm not running against any candidate. There are 3 seats, and I'm hoping to get elected to one of those. I think I have a history of serving and not having to worry about who pays me or what the benefits are. I was served as president of 3 civil rights organizations, never got paid a cent for any of those. I just have a love for our community, and my residents are saying to me, and I'm agreeing, that we deserve better leadership. We deserve better representation. So why should I keep looking for someone else to do it when, in fact, I have time and energy and the love of my community? Why don't I try it myself?
Let's talk for a few moments about the spike in violence that everyone seems to be talking about in the city of Baltimore. I think overnight, if I'm correct, I remember reading something, another 2 homicides, several shootings.
Just last night
in the city of Baltimore. Doc, a lot of people seeking answers, trying to find solutions. People are looking to the police commissioner, they're looking to the mayor, and they're saying, what must we do? What's your idea? What could we do to begin to curb this violence that we see happening in the city?
I would say, Anthony, probably in 3 specific areas that I'm looking at. First and foremost, it starts at home. We must do a better job in bringing up our children, our grandchildren in many cases, and in some cases our grandchildren. We must first look at home because that's where our individuals are coming from. Second, it is imperative that community associations get more active, especially men. I was very excited to be one of many men that marched this past Friday. Surprisingly, but not surprisingly enough, the elected officials that I'm hoping to get one of the seats from, none of them were there. I think also we must do a better job in addressing the problem of unemployment, the drug problem that we have. We have to do better things. I was real pleased to hear my good fraternity brother, Reverend Dr. Lund, and the Baptist Ministers Conference speak out, because one of the things I think also, and I have recommended to our police officers, because many of them do a good job, sadly enough, not enough of them live in Baltimore City, but we must get our churches to come out from behind those pretty stained glass windows and get more actively involved in the community. But there's no need to point fingers. I think all of us have some responsibility, but I think all of us must step up our game, starting with each and every individual home.
I'm curious about the availability of guns and what we can do. Now, the legislature has a great purview over a lot of issues. Their primary, of course, responsibility is education and educating the children of Maryland. We're going to talk about that in a moment. But I want to talk to you about guns. It appears that with all the gun laws that we have in Maryland, with all the gun laws that impact us in the city of Baltimore, illegal guns are still easily accessed. How can we stop that, Doug?
We must first look at the fact that those that are using the guns are not using it for the first time. They're normally repeat offenders. Sadly enough, it's a big challenge to stop the import of guns, but we must convict very strongly those individuals that already have records for using guns, because oftentimes it's the repeat offenders. And I just feel, we need better legal help in this particular area. But then again, I look back at home. These folks that are committing these crimes, they're not from Venus or Mars. They're from our neighborhoods. They are sons. They are daughters. Each family must look in their own household and say, listen, do we have guns in the household? If I'm the head of the household, I have a right to go through every drawer, every closet, and make certain if there is someone in my family that has a gun, then let's have a discussion. Why do you have this gun? And hopefully we can find some solutions. But I think it's a combination of things that has to be done. I don't necessarily say we need any more laws. We just need strengthening of those that get convicted, that we give them more time for using guns.
I think you're right, Doc. And I think we've developed a culture in many ways in our families, in our communities, where we've allowed some criminals to thrive and kind of flourish in our neighborhoods because we get a benefit. And I'm not pointing the finger, and I'm not even passing judgment, but I think too many of these criminals are paying rent for families. Too many of these criminals are making sure that you have a car, and they're giving our sons and our daughters jobs on the corners that they can't find anywhere else.
Sadly, Anthony, we're actually seeing in the community in which I live. I'm happy to say I just got out about 30-some residents of my block to be crime watchers.
Awesome.
Because we're seeing our 13 and 14-year-olds. They're the ones that are actually helping to distribute the drugs because, one, the dealers know that they're not going to get time if they get caught. And we're saying our children, our children are coming home and, parent, if you got a son or a daughter, he's 13 or 14 years old, does not have a job, and he's got $30 or $40 in his pocket, that should be a red flag.
A question needs to be asked.
Yeah. But we got to give our children tough love. I'm not one of those who want to see us lock up everything because I was one of those who went against the former mayor. Filed a lawsuit where we were having our citizens arrested.
That's right.
We can't arrest our way out of this. We got to start in the home and do better in the home.
Dr. Marvin L. Doc Cheatham Sr. is in the studio with